It's a very family environment because we've been here a long time working together. It's not the kind of industry that you'll stay here for just a few years and then move on. It requires that kind of commitment because you're learning techniques and operational systems that are needed to be passed on to the next generation. So as much as Sean has been here for 40 years and I've been here for 20 years, we've got the next cohort coming through and they're in their early 20s, and it's quite exciting to be able to train them and give them the knowledge that we've picked up.
It may look like, oh, it's just a flat bed, but it's not. You know, that bed has got to be very precisely levelled. It's all got to be done by hand. So basically they're in there with lawn rakes, literally having to rake over the whole bed, and then basically come in with gravel to actually level over, make it right, before we can actually put the drill in and put the seed in.
We're really producing around about 10% of our water that we use in the UK, 10 to 20% from this farm alone. The water has worked its way through bedrock, and while it's working its way through the bedrock, it picks up all the minerals. So that signature of the water here is all about calcium, it's got phosphates, it's got nitrogen. So the water's flowing through constantly and all day. The photosynthesis is allowing the nutrients to be taken from the water as it passes through. We didn't know what wasabi was, and what became very apparent quickly was the chemical that we knew that was in watercress, this hot, peppery flavour when you chew it, is exactly what wasabi was. And wasabi's renowned for that sort of intense heat, that nasal bang when you grate it and then consume it. And so the journey started really with the farms that you could see on the internet looked a little bit like watercress farms, but the crop was very, very different, and we were going to go through a journey of probably about 5 or 6 years trying to understand how to grow wasabi in England, not in Japan. Nobody had any fresh rhizome, everything was all in these packets, and once we learned that if we had the fresh, we could offer 100% wasabi rather than a tiny quantity in a tube mixed with other ingredients, then we realised that there was an interest in Japanese food. There were wholesalers starting to develop in the UK, and you could start to see the fashion of Japan was starting to come into the UK. In terms of its equivalence to watercress, you know, the watercress market is probably worth about 75 million, and the fresh rhizome market could be worth about 1.5 million. Probably the largest market in the UK by value in terms of Japanese goods is going to be the sushi. It's highly prized. It's flown from all over the world. And therefore the fish element is an important part, and we've had to work in order to grow the market and make it sustainable for us. We knew it was going to be a long wait. It's about 2 years to get to the first crop. So in that time of the first sort of 2 years, you get to learn what works and doesn't work, and it's all to do with how you plant it, the depth of the water, the size of the gravel, the types and varieties that you're growing, and then also that sort of cycle through the year, because this crop here was planted at the end of last year and it's quite large, it's very green, but this is sort of part of that growing cycle where it goes through a vegetative stage and eventually it then starts putting its weight into the prize, which is this rhizome. So what I'm going to do is we just pull a plant out. And on here, so we've got the roots that are attached to the stones, and that gives it the anchor to keep the crop upright and stable. That's the part that creates the paste, the wasabi paste. So, and that's what all these nodules are. These are the old attachments to these petioles. Okay. So this is just going in a circle, quite a sticky paste. That's all of the proteins and the enzymes that are all in there. And what we're doing is we're destroying the cells and we're mixing the cells with the enzymes that are naturally found in here. And that's what activates. So just like chewing watercress, grating and grinding wasabi activates the chemicals. So that's that process. That's very, very, very strong. It's quite possible that the pairing of raw fish and wasabi, a way of mitigating some of the risk associated with eating raw fish, because this has got incredible antibacterial properties. We supply companies like Lush, who put the fresh wasabi into hair care products, stimulating the follicles. It's nice to see it in a range of products and not just in restaurants.